Listen, the world is becoming more digitized the second that we sit here. It's, twice as big as it was a moment ago, right?
Mhm.
And I think there's, to everything has a cycle, but I think we're in this nuanced space with technology that we've never been here before. But there are some
Oh
things
yeah.
that are still true. And so I'm curious as to, when you look at the numbers, when you look at the stats, when you
Mhm.
look at the industry of physical products, what do you see in the future, 5, 10 years from now, when you look at, like, because I love the point that you made, like, and I never would have thought about it, but I would have thought, heck, during COVID, nobody wanted things physical because we were all, worried about whatever, right? And
Yeah.
here you show up with a world class, opportunity for people to not only be able to engage and learn in whatever it is, the thing that they purchase digitally. Where do you see the next 5 to 10 years of those who are building the digital side of their business and looking to grow? What is some of the things that Mark is screaming from his soapbox, going, if you don't pay attention to these things or do these things from a physical standpoint, you're missing out? What is that for you?
So I think the biggest disruption that we're primed for right now is courses. I think there's a stigma right now associated with courses and creating courses. And when I say courses, the data, what it says is we know that that's a growing industry. By 2025, courses are going to be $325 billion industry, a massive, massive industry, big opportunity. But we also know that the data shows us that average course completion rates is 3%. So where if we know the course completion rates are 3% and we know it's a growing category, how are you going to win? Well, to me, like, again, this is putting my corporate hat back on to say this is something that is ripe for disruption, because how do you make a better course? You have 3.1% completion rate. You have 3.5. Whereas I would say that's not success. That's not looking successfully at something. And why is it that completion rates are so low? And part of it is that the amount of courses in the market and the fact that there's billions of pieces of data that are getting uploaded. Now with AI, it's just going to get more intensified. Content's going to become more readily available. The more you get AI automation to pump content out and AI starts replacing workforces, you're going to see even more content get available. And the problem is, even though there's going to be so much content, there's going to be a significant more amount of saturation when we're talking about digital only content. What is an easy way to stand out? This is kind of where bringing physical and digital provides a new opportunity. So rather than calling it courses, I'm seeing a lot more people using the terminology immersion experiences. And the difference is it's a new opportunity because I can send you something physical that complements something digital. And in addition to how you gamify that process, now if I send you something physical, I can gamify the process in a very different way. So gamification, what do I mean by that is gaming tactics. Think about when you play a board game. What are the elements of a board game that keep you invested or keep you coming back to playing it again? And think about those. Think about video games. What is it about video games that keeps us playing, or how they layer on the music with the experience, with the education to keep us going, to keep playing? How do we start to take some of those elements and incentivize behavior in the right capacity for people to go through our products and services? So I'd like to say my big hope and vision is that having something physical tied to something digital is going to be so synonymous that anytime someone is launching something new, a business owner is like, and what is our physical strategy? Just like, an iPhone. I can have an iPhone without a case and it'll function just fine. But I like to consider boxes. My goal would be the boxes to businesses are like an iPhone case to an iPhone. You can be fine without the case, but the second you add the case, it extends the lifetime. You can personalize it. It protects it a lot longer. There's just a lot more benefits that you just don't think about getting an iPhone or any type of smartphone without some type of case. That is how synonymous that I want the boxes to be with every single business. Is you don't even think twice about spending an incremental more to giving people the tools they need to be set up for success to get results faster. So that's how you can extend lifetime value. This is how you can increase results and get more success and testimonials from people. You can stage and gamify all of it. And people are looking for those new opportunities. So that's kind of where my head goes for the next 5 to 10 years is, I think that the pendulum was very far left in terms of physical products. In the 90s, you would buy something onto the television, you'd call, you'd see an article in the back of an ad in the back of a magazine, and they would mail you a box or DVD set in the mail. Then the pendulum went to digital, and now I think you're finding this equilibrium of digital only with 3% completion rates shows that there's a lot of opportunity, that it's just for improvement. What happens when we bring these two worlds together, how we did things before and how we're doing things now, to reimagine what that experience can be like? And that's kind of where we're having a lot of fun. That's, to me, where I believe things should be heading. Yeah.
Man, I tell you, you brought back memories, because if I only knew when I dialed that Time Warner number for those 10 CDs, what my life was going to be like.
I am just as guilty. Columbia House. It was funny. I was just talking to someone about Columbia House, and I think I was a kid, and it was like in the back of the Parade magazine that would come every Sunday. And I think as a kid, it was like 1 cent. And I think I actually took
1
a penny,
cent, that was it.
And shipped it off. And then my parents like get this box, and they were like, I was probably in elementary school. And they were like, what did you do? I got in trouble because I started a Columbia House subscription.
That's right.
Not have.
Man, that was the times. Well, so let's go here. You know, you talked about kind of the increasing the long-term value, of a customer. You know, a lot of times when you think about the way the business, there's two versions. There's the way you want the business to go, and then there's the way it just goes. And then you have to ride that train a lot more times than you being able to steer it a particular way. In your case, you were doing virtual events thinking that's it. And then this custom box thing is like, nope, this is the way you're going, right?
Yeah.
I love the way you phrased the fact that instead of competing, you became a collaborative type business. So you can collaborate with these entrepreneurs, these coaches, these virtual events.
Yeah.
I believe personally over the next several years, collaborations are going to be the key to having real sustainable businesses. And I'll give you a good example. The first time I saw, I'm an NBA fan. So the first time I saw superstars coming together late 90s and going to win a championship, I'm like, actually, that actually works. I know people get mad and upset, but hey, that thing kind of actually works. Then you started looking at all these individuals in the online space. Tony Robbins is great, but man, when he got with a Dean and he got with some other people, it just changed what was happening from what the perceived value, in a sense, of what was being provided for. When I look at what you're doing with this custom box piece, like, nobody's on stage screaming, Mark Stern. What they're saying is, hey, here's our product. And then they find out about Mark because oh, wow, I got this thing in the mail. This is awesome, right? What does collaboration look like for you going forward? As more and more, just like anything else, there's going to be competition. There's going to be people trying to find their own way to do it. But what does collaboration mean for you going forward? And how do you continue to stay top of mind and present as you continue to grow and reach your goals?
Such a great question. So collaboration for me, it's when I think about the role that I play, part of what I think my role is a lot of we call our clients our partners. We don't want a transactional relationship. We want a strategic relationship, and we want to be able to plug into their business in a way. This is the capabilities we built. We can help people from strategy. We can build out the entire blueprint of whatever that campaign is. And then we have a warehouse in Austin, Texas, so we can send the entire campaign into production. We can assemble it and have it ready to ship and handle that entire process. So one-stop solution for clients, which means I can plug into their business and now unlock this entire physical capability. So that's one thing, is that you don't need to figure out the capability. We have that. And this is kind of why, and I would say this to anyone listening to this, a lot of people keep talking about, and I see a lot of people about building more and more courses, and I would say start building more and more capabilities. And what I mean by capability, not a course, is that when you have a capability, it becomes a strategic advantage. So for me, you'd be shocked to hear this, but there's lots of software that all of us could build where you can have your own software platform that produces monthly recurring revenue for under $1,000 to build out the platform. So that was a mind-blowing thing that I didn't know until someone showed that to me, but that becomes a capability. So we have our own, some of our own software that becomes a competitive edge because I can offer that to you. We have our warehouse in Austin, Texas. That's a capability because a lot of people don't have that capability. We also have a brand new product we're about to launch. It's a card deck called Activate. I think I showed you a little glimpse of it. So that's coming down the pipeline.
Don't give away the sauce. Don't give away the sauce.
We're not giving away any sauce. The sauce will be another conversation, but like at the very least, it's going to open up this marketplace, which now for me to be able to say, hey, Chris, come present to there. Now that's a competitive edge that I'm like, look at this entire marketplace that you have access to. So the idea of capabilities, I mean, we rented out an office space in Austin that has become what we call the CBA lab, a place for people to come down to Austin and immerse themselves in our world. But even for collaboration, I see my role is you don't know what you don't know. And that's true for all of us. I don't know what I don't know. But what I know in my domain, typically most people aren't thinking about it because they're only thinking about digital and how do we do this with digital. When I can unlock the potential of how to do this blending digital with physical, all of a sudden you just see the lights go off that clients are like, I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know that we could do that. And I keep telling clients, hey, if it's ever been done before, the amount of, like, I am such a kid of the 80s and the nostalgia of so many things that I get inspiration from were things from my childhood that when you go in the CBA lab, like you'll see on display things that I get inspiration from that have influenced my business. But in terms of that collaboration piece, it's a good strategic partnership. You're right, we can all grow together. But I also hold a belief that other people hold the keys that can unlock new success in you. So as long as I hold that belief that I actually just gave a presentation on this, the simple act of, I genuinely want other good people to win. And therefore I have to assume other good people want me to win. So as long as I can assume that kind of law of reciprocity, when you put out value and provide value to other people, it will come back to you. But I can't tell you how many times I've gotten stuck. And when I do it by myself, like I get nowhere. But the second I start telling people, here's where I'm stuck, and I know there's a block there, somebody has that key that they just turn it and it unlocks it. And all of a sudden, that element of collaboration, I think, is just so critical because this should not be a game that you play by yourself. And the other thing I'll say on this is you can steal my business. You can steal the entire model of my business. But at the end of the day, you are not me and I am not you. And in that sense, even if you take my business model, you don't know the history and the background and have the experience and the exposure. And so part of that is just this mindset around, we like competition because it helps grow the category and bring awareness to the category. But people are smart and they'll do their due diligence and they'll figure out the right fit of who they should collaborate with. And if it's me, wonderful. But if it's not me, it may not have meant to be, and there's a better fit for them, and that's okay. And so that sense of like, I would tell people to share your ideas, because how many people have a business that's similar to what you're already thinking about doing? The difference is they're not you. And as long as you get this idea of they're not you, they can't compete with you because you don't have their brain and they don't have your brain. And that's it.
Good point. Great point.